This administration has unleashed primarily paramilitary force into our neighborhoods, terrorizing families, escalating enforcement, and now killing a U.S. citizen in our state.
Hold on.
And this is just
Watch Ilhan Omar threaten to fight back and demand ICE leave Minnesota. The audacity is unbelievable. She's calling federal immigration enforcement authoritarian, screaming about paramilitary forces and the Insurrection Act, like she's narrating a dystopian Netflix trailer. You'd think tanks were rolling down Main Street, but no, it's immigration officers enforcing federal law. The exaggeration was so over the top it needed background music and dramatic lighting. Meanwhile, the Republican position: enforce the law, protect citizens, maintain order. Apparently, that's now considered terror. If you're tired of the political theater and the meltdown every time laws are enforced, hit like, subscribe, and buckle up. Let's watch the full clip before I give you the full breakdown.
Thank you all for being here today. I want to thank Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal for co-hosting this field hearing to raise the alarm about Donald Trump's unlawful, aggressive, and authoritarian actions in the Twin Cities. I also want to thank my colleagues who came from across the country and testifiers for joining us here in Minnesota. What we are witnessing right now is unprecedented. There is no modern precedent for this level of federal overreach, violence, lawlessness carried out in the name of immigration enforcement. This is not routine enforcement. This is not about public safety. This is not even about immigration. This is about political retribution. The president said it himself this week. It is increasingly clear that the entire purpose of these actions is to provoke chaos and fear in order to justify invoking the Insurrection Act and expand the president's ability to rain terror upon American cities who do not vote for him. That is the context in which Renee Nicole Goode occurred. This administration has unleashed primarily paramilitary force into our neighborhoods, terrorizing families, escalating enforcement, and now killing a U.S. citizen in our state. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Our office has received numerous reports of deeply questionable arrests, individuals detained without explanation, without warrants, without access to counsel, and in many cases without any discernible lawful basis at all. We have heard of agents pushing people because they look Latino or Somali, forcing them into car accidents where they smash windows, cut seatbelts, carry people away. Abandoned cars with broken windows have become a normal sight of daily life in the Twin Cities. Trump claims Operation Metro Surge is about targeting criminals. The reality is even more disturbing. They have deliberately blurred the lines between public safety threats, legal immigration, and U.S. citizens, creating an enforcement campaign so indiscriminate that citizens are being swept up, arrested, and carried away to detention facilities. In Minnesota, dozens of U.S. citizens have been taken into custody and released hours later. We have yet to see charges materialize because in nearly all instances, no federal charges are possible. Similarly, this administration has worked to reduce any semblance of due process, sending people out of state, specifically to prevent access to legal representation, separating them from their family, counsel, and open removal processes for refugees with no legitimate legal basis. This is the behavior of paramilitary force operating outside the bounds of law. This administration has been entirely unresponsive. Families cannot locate loved ones, attorneys cannot find their clients, members of Congress can't get answers about where people are being held. In North Minneapolis, doors have been battered down without judicial warrants, as ICE has conducted door-to-door operations with guns drawn, actions that are neither legal or precedented. People have been indiscriminately shoved in the streets, pushed into oncoming traffic and nearly hit by buses. Flashbangs, pepper balls, and chemical irritants are used without a second thought. This is not the America we want. This is not the Minnesota we deserve, and we will fight back. Thank you, and
All
I
right,
look forward to hearing
deep
from our
breath,
witnesses.
because what we just heard wasn't a policy critique. It was a Hollywood monologue. Paramilitary forces, reigning terror, authoritarian chaos. This is the language Democrats use when they want to turn routine immigration enforcement into a Marvel villain origin story. Here's the reality. Enforcing immigration law is not authoritarian. It's the federal government doing the job it is legally required to do. When Republicans say secure the border and enforce the law, they mean exactly that. They don't mean round up citizens. They don't mean violate due process. And notice something important. In all that fiery rhetoric, there were accusations, but no verified evidence presented. Just sweeping claims designed to scare people. This is the pattern. Democrats blur the line between enforcement and oppression because fear mobilizes voters. They talk about federal overreach, but they're perfectly fine with federal overreach when it comes to climate mandates, vaccine rules, or nationwide social policy. Suddenly, enforcing immigration law is tyranny, but regulating every other part of your life is compassion. The double standard is wild. And the Insurrection Act angle? That's pure political drama. Plants the idea that law enforcement equals dictatorship. It's meant to inflame, not inform. Republicans aren't trying to rain terror on cities that didn't vote for them. They're trying to stop cities from becoming lawless free-for-alls because local leaders refuse to cooperate with federal law. The most telling part? The speech framed enforcement itself as illegitimate. Not flawed. Not in need of reform. Illegitimate. That's the radical position. A sovereign nation enforcing its immigration laws is not extreme. It's basic governance. What we witnessed wasn't a defense of civil liberties. It was an attempt to demonize law enforcement and score political points. Republicans stand for order, security, and constitutional authority. Democrats respond with apocalyptic language and moral panic. And when you strip away the dramatic adjectives, what's left? A federal government enforcing federal law. That's not authoritarian. That's called doing the job.